Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. In this one, we're going to be exploring the Metaverse. Now, what prompted me to make this video was a recent publication from the World Economic Forum talking about the Metaverse and where it's going, and the fact that they could see the Metaverse reaching a market capitalization value of $4.4 trillion. Now, I should have introduced myself as All in Conspiracy at the start of the video and not All in Crypto, because we're going to be hearing some words from Yuval Harari, who is essentially a World Economic Forum figure. He is kind of like a Klaus Schwab underling, and he talks about a problem that we're facing in the 21st century to do with useless human beings, and actually how he can see this being resolved is, or one of the ways he can see this being resolved, how do you stop people from being bored, is through video games. And he also, in one of these clips that we're going to play, references building virtual worlds. So we're going to be exploring that, looking at the clips. I want to just start off by talking about this publication from the World Economic Forum and where it sees the metaverse going. So my own personal views are, I do believe that we are moving towards a world that is going to involve things like UBI, so on and so forth. And I do see a huge disconnect with reality just in the short time that I've been alive. When I'm going to be showing my age here, came into this world, common practice wasn't mobile phones or iPads or really computers. Televisions were still pretty crap. And now when I look at younger people and myself, they're very much born with a phone in their hand, or, you see if you go out, people will just pass their kids phones to play with to keep them occupied. And I think that this is a trend that we're actually going to see amplify, certainly with the emergings of things like AI, robonomics, all this kind of things moving forwards, I think is going to really create, in the same way that we saw with agriculture, a lack of or a destruction of jobs with the kind of innovation or whatever it may be. When something becomes a lot more technological, usually that leads to people losing jobs. And I think the metaverse, one reason I think it's going to offer an opportunity, and a fantastic opportunity if you're an investor, is simply because there's going to be more of a demand for it and more of a kind of expansion of it as we move, not only as, certainly in the Western world, we become more and more detached from reality and we look for escapes from reality. We can see this in a number of statistics, certainly talking about the UK. I think the metaverse is going to fill that role. And I also think it's going to fill a role of it's going to be the next sort of area of interest as sort of things like VR come to the forefront and all this other thing. So I think there's going to be a massive opportunity from an investment standpoint. It's up to you guys what investments you take. I will be releasing, my top metaverse picks that I'm looking at. I was a early investor in the likes of Mana before it was popular. Videos are all still on my channel. We actually did get Mana parcels. Also, being very early on to the sort of metaverse coins. And I think metaverse is going to continue to be an area that grows and excels. And the World Economic Forum are pointing that out. And then I want to talk a little bit about some of Yuval's comments towards potentially hinting at the metaverse and hinting at what is coming down the line. So this chart shows how big the metaverse market could become. Statistics Insights suggests 15% of all digital economy has already shifted to the metaverse. Its reach is predicted to be 700 million people worldwide by the end of the decade. This chart shows several possible scenarios for metaverse market growth between now and 2030. If changing the name of his company from Facebook to Meta wasn't a big enough sign of how seriously Mark Zuckerberg is taking the potential of Metaverse, the company's recent financial statement reveals the billions of dollars sunk into projects so far certainly should be. But what exactly is Meta betting on? Is there really so much potential in the metaverse to justify such a massive investment? As for forecast by Statista for its advertising and media marketing insights shows, even looking at the conversation addressable market scenario where 15% of the digital economy shift to the metaverse, Mark Zuckerberg is seemingly shooting for a slice of a large lucrative pie. According to the analysis, the largest segments in terms of revenue in 2023 or in 2030, sorry, will be gaming, estimated at $163 billion, and e-commerce at $201 billion. By the end of the decade, the metaverse reach is projected to be 700 million people worldwide, with the highest penetration rate forecast for South Korea. And this, of course, is the chart in question. I will go ahead and minimize my face. And you can see that what we're looking at here is this is the metaverse, the land opportunities, forecast total addressable metaverse market by scenario. So they've got it reaching the lowest. A conservative scenario is reaching $1.9 trillion. So nearly double what the cryptocurrency market is worth at the moment. Moderate is nearly triple what the cryptocurrency market is worth at the moment. And then optimistic is, $4.4 trillion in the next 7 years, ladies and gentlemen. So this is absolutely huge. It's the World Economic Forum. And I've brought up a couple of sort of potentially very negative ways that the metaverse is going to be used. But from a sort of gaming standpoint and all this sort of stuff, it really does, I think, unlock that sort of next level of it. Fully immersive, interactive gaming. And it's going to be a very exciting space. And I think, given the sort of World Economic Forum's projection, and it is only a projection, doesn't mean it's going to get to $4.4 trillion. There's a lot of money. The space is probably, half a trillion, couple of hundred, billion, if that, at the moment. And there's a lot of growth that's going to come out of it. So there will be massive chances from an investment point of view to get on board with that. However, I do see some somewhat negative connotations to the metaverse, and we're going to go ahead and play these clips. I'll go ahead and get rid of my face, and then we will wrap this video up.
If the next stage means I'm losing my job at 45 as a cashier at Walmart, and now there is an opening as a software engineer at Google designing virtual worlds, this is going to be much more difficult than moving from the car factory to Walmart. And it's very likely that even if there are new jobs, most of the unemployed masses will not be able to make the transition. It's also a big question about young people, that nobody really knows what the job market would be like in 20 or 30 years.
So it's very interesting. He talks about people not being able to sort of move with the times. He also talks about Google creating virtual worlds.
So we may be facing in the 21st century a completely new kind of inequality, which we have never seen before in human history. On the one hand, the emergence of a new upgraded elite of superhumans enhanced by bioengineering and brain-computer interfaces and things like that. And on the other hand, a new, massive, useless class. A class that has no military or economic usefulness, and therefore also no political power.
Very interesting. And then he goes on to how do you deal with this sort of useless class, as he sort of terms it.
I think that the biggest question maybe in economics and politics of the coming decades will be what to do with all these useless people. I don't think we have an economic model for that. My best guess, which is just a guess, is that food will not be a problem. With that kind of technology, you will be able to produce food to feed everybody. The problem is more boredom and what to do with them, and how will they find some sense of meaning in life when they are basically meaningless, worthless. My best guess at present is a combination of drugs and computer games.
Very interesting. You know, bearing in mind these clips were 5+ years old. You know, and again, Yuval is an underling to Klaus Schwab, and of course part of the World Economic Forum, often speaker there. It's very, very interesting. You know, and I just want to, even though I've gone on to say this and kind of put forward the argument that I think it's going to play more and more of a role, and there's some potentially negative connotations to it, that doesn't mean the people that are building these products are or have that even in mind. You know, lots of these people are seeing this as a trend. They're seeing huge opportunity, and it is a very exciting space. You know, I own multiple metaverse projects, and will continue to invest into the space. The reason I've highlighted what I've highlighted is because in a world where we're becoming more and more detached from reality, the metaverse, I think, you know, fits where we're going very well. And there's going to be opportunities in that, but you know, there'll be some sort of negative repercussions for it. So that's really all I've got for you in this video, guys. I don't want it to come across as, you know, I'm metaverse bad. You know, I think there's some amazing builders out there. I've spoken to quite a few of them, and they're doing some fantastic things, and they're doing it in mind with your enjoyment on the back end of it. And, you know, not this sort of dark undertone that I've maybe put to the metaverse and you know, the world that we're moving towards and what it could mean. Certainly with what Yuval's saying in regards to this useless class of people, which is not a very nice sort of way to address what he's sort of, you know, determining the masses essentially. So that's all I've got for you in this video, guys. If you've enjoyed this content, like us, always appreciate it. So as a comment, let me know if you want more of these kind of videos. Because if you do, and I get the sort of reaction in the comment section, I'll certainly be obliged to facilitate that. Thanks all for watching, everybody. See you in the next one.